Welcome to Squatchin Holler.
In the mist where the trees lean low, Squatchin Holler's got a tale to show. Whispers creep like a creature's faint howl. Every shadow's got a secret to growl. Monsters rise where the stories are told. Squatchin Holler where the legends are born. Are they here? Are they gone? Who can say? In the holler, the truth just slips away. Huge footprints fade where the creek runs thin. A lantern sways, let the search begin. Rustling leaves, but there's no one near. Is it the wind or the beast you fear? Every echo's a question, every rustle's a clue. Squatchin Holler's got its eyes on you. Monsters rise where the stories are torn. Squatchin Holler where the legends are born. Are they here? Are they gone? Who can say?
And now, with your Squatchin Holler hosts, Roger Williams, Amanda Stowers, and Ashley Range. Remember, this podcast can be downloaded everywhere great podcasts are found. And now the show.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. I can hear you all right. How about me? We good?
Good, sounding good. Y'all, thank y'all for hanging in there. We're having technical difficulties. Today, I don't know if everybody's internet's been acting crazy, but some of us has. It's been raining all over the Southeast, so I had to reboot my phone today, and it's just been
the
crazy.
service has been just really awful here in our area as well.
And so Mr. Seech, he's backstage. We've been trying to get the sound right. It kind of sounds like we're communicating through a robot voice on both ends. So we're gonna give him a try, and if it can't work, we'll reschedule, but we'll continue. We'll do something. So Amanda's got a presentation.
Hey, I was like, what do we do if we can't get it to work? So I was like,
she's gonna read bedtime stories, booger stories to y'all.
Yeah, read you some good old time stories.
Yeah, and before I've got a couple things to talk about quickly. If
what you got?
Well, we'll do it here in a little bit. I'm gonna see if you want to try to bring Brian on and see if it's working.
Yeah, we can try it. Everybody in chat and on the show, just bear with us here while we make sure everything is good. If the audio is a little wonky, we apologize in advance. So let's see what we got.
Let's see what we got. Hey, can y'all hear us now? Can you hear us now? Hey, Brian.
I can hear you guys great now.
Oh my God.
Is it great?
We got a show.
That's my awesome wife back there.
Yay to wifeys! Woohoo!
That's Terry. She did it.
Thank you, Terry.
She's the technical guru. I'm not.
Well, in the Southern terms, I'll buy her a cold drink.
You buy her a cold drink. Okay. Again, I'm very sorry. I don't know.
It is okay though. We are very thankful for you pushing through and trying to get it to work, and it's working. So woohoo! It was meant to happen.
Yeah. Look, and y'all with live shows, I've had so many things happen. Terry tech support, that's cool. Yeah, call Terry tech support.
She's tech support. Yeah, she actually, we have two groups, and she basically is the heart and soul of the group. She does everything while I just get to have fun and just talk. But she I wouldn't be doing any of this if it wasn't for her. So,
And I'm gonna try to turn you up just a little bit. Hold on.
sure.
I'm gonna go to automatically adjust to. All right, now say something for me.
Hello, can you hear me?
That's a little better. We can hear you. It's just a little low.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll try to talk real loud then. How's that?
We're punking you. We can hear you the whole time. No,
Cool.
we're joking. No, we're joking.
Good. Thank you.
No, Mr. Seech, I got to stop that. Brian, thank you for coming on. I didn't get a chance to do an intro for you, but with our show, when I started, I wanted to learn more, and then we started finding out. I started finding out there's people that's been doing this a long time, and you're one of them. And
Thank you.
if any of y'all in chat or the ones that'll be listening tomorrow on Spotify and stuff, if you don't know who Brian is, if you Google his name, if you've watched any Bigfoot shows or anything like that, Small Town Monsters, and the Mothman movie, somebody was in the Mothman movie. I'm not gonna mention any names, but you've
For about
seen
3 seconds, guys. For about 3 seconds, carrying a briefcase in the back. So.
Hey, it counts.
Hey, it
right?
still counts, right?
But so, when I started this journey, Amanda started hers a different way, and we all came together. It's kind of crazy how it happened. But I'd put it in the back of my mind, but I'd always kind of wanted to get into this, and I didn't know people like you were actually doing it. And I think I saw where you said, the kids moved out of the house and y'all were looking for something to do. How did you kind of settle on investigating?
Well, basically, just a little bit about us, because probably, even though we've been around, we have our first group was called Q. We still have that. It's the Center for Unexplained Events.
Mm-hmm.
We started that in 1986. So next year is actually 40 years for our Q group. We're proud of that. And what we did is we were both interested. I grew up in we both grew up in the 70s. I grew up watching In Search Of, all the documentaries that were at, like Boggy Creek, things like that.
Yes.
So I was interested. I was always interested in UFOs too. So I would buy the UFO magazines. In the 70s, UFOs were really big. Not as they are now. Excuse me, UAPs, guys.
There you go.
We still call it UFOs.
Let's get with the times, right? But so I was always interested in that. And so when I started to read some of these, I was reading these UFO magazines, and so they start talking about Gen X, yeah. I love my Gen X, guys. It's 1965. I just turned 60 here, so
we're and all Gen Xers, kudos. We're lucky to be here.
Yeah,
because it was a different time back then. It's like anyway. But my daddy's favorite thing was I'd get hurt, I'd do something stupid. He said, "I bet you won't do that again."
Yeah, exactly. they didn't coddle us. It's like, hey, just here's a Band-Aid. Go back out and play for 3 hours.
No, rub some dirt on it, and they wouldn't even give you the dirt to go find your own dirt. Get out of here.
Exactly. So, but what was interesting? So I was reading these UFO Universe, Saga. It was in Saga magazine, True magazine. They started to have, they were talking about UFOs, but all of a sudden they started to bring Bigfoot into it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and at the 70s, hey, is there a Bigfoot UFO connection at the time? A lot of articles about UFOs and Bigfoot. So my wife and I are originally from Pennsylvania. We both grew up in Hopewell, Beaver County, Pennsylvania. Now we moved to Weirton, West Virginia, and that's Hancock County. So basically, if you look at a map, you'll see Ohio up here, Pennsylvania. You see a little sliver.
Mm-hmm.
I always say we're on the tip of the middle finger of West Virginia. Okay, and
I like it.
That's perfect.
And we're in Hancock County right now, and that's the smallest county in West Virginia, actually. So we've been down here for 4 years now, and we're researching down here, holding events, trying to get because down here, Bigfooting was never huge. Okay, one county up in Pennsylvania, people knew about Bigfoot more, but down here, not as much. So So then in 2012, okay, we decided to have our second group, okay, and our second group is called Center for Cryptozoological Studies, and I don't know if you can see my shirt here, but so we decided to take because Q was just a broad-based generic term for a group, which we covered all spectrum of the paranormal, from ghosts to UFOs to cryptids, everything under the umbrella. We called it the paranormal umbrella, but we weren't getting the creature reports that that I wanted. So we branched off. We still have Q for everything else, but just for any kind of cryptid report, whether it be Dogman, and we do research Dogman, winged entities, Thunderbirds, you name it, we research it. Okay. So that group has been since 2012. So, here we are today, older and grayer, but still continuing our exploits, so to say.
Did it surprise you or both of y'all when you started digging in how some of these seem to be connected? Because it has surprised me.
There you go. I was able to get it pulled up for the
There it is. Thank you.
But I have people come to me. I started out totally Bigfoot, but I saw UFO. We've had weird stuff happen all our lives. And I had a young man, I think he's watching tonight with my son, told us about when he was younger here at the airport about something with wings that looked like a man landed on a fence behind his house.
Huh.
They joined the airport, so it was a tall fence, and it was so heavy when it landed, it bent the top rail down.
Wow.
And he turned around and ran in the house. He said it looked gargoyle-ish.
Yeah.
He ran in the house, and, as a witness to some of these weird things, you kind of second guess yourself. Well, when he walked back out and saw, the next day the fence was actually still damaged, then that left evidence. And I wasn't expecting to get stories like that, but I feel like, if you're talking to somebody and you're talking about Bigfoot and they're comfortable talking to you because you've been through some weird stuff too, and I think what y'all are doing is very valuable. It gives people a voice, even if they don't want their name, put out there. A lot of us, that was unexpected to me. So was it a shock to you that some of this stuff seemed tied together?
Well, maybe not as much, especially for me, because I grew up with it.
Mm-hmm.
It was ingrained in me. I mean, and even today, when you talk about if this young man or whoever is still listening, we have a phenomena here in Pennsylvania. It's in Butler County. Okay, it's called the Chicora gargoyle. It's in Chicora, which Butler County, which is right next to East Brady, home of Jim Kelly formerly from the Buffalo Bills.
Yep.
Okay, and this thing, we investigated the one report with Dan Hagman from called BORU, Butler Organization for Research for Unexplained. This thing was about 6.5, 7 foot gray, gargoyle-ish, if there's a word like that, type entity with wraparound wings. Its head looked like a dynamic bicycle helmet. And we actually found another report in 1993 that was 2011 for the Chicora gargoyle. In 1993, the drawing is almost exactly the drawing from 2011. It's really like when I first saw the 2011 drawing, and I said, "Oh my God, I've seen this drawing before. Mm-hmm. Where is it at?" Now we collect and archive old Fortean material, books, magazines. We call it the S files for Seech files, and we've been doing that for 40 years. And right above my head here is just a whole. There is so much stuff there. What I think we intend to do for next year, for the 40th, is doing some lives up there and just showing people what we have. Showing people what
that would be super awesome.
Oh,
I'm a book nerd here, so then
you would
love
just
to come library.
Yeah, you would just love this. My wife is,
Do you see the smile on my face? I'm just thinking about oh my God, that would be so much. All the.
Oh, there is so much over there. We have it all up. We have it upstairs. We have it downstairs. This is when we tell people that that it's been our lives. You can tell somebody, but we actually we had Seth and Courtney from Small Town Monsters. If you guys have seen the West Virginia episode, it's called Mountain State Monsters. It's Sasquatch Unearthed Mountain State Monsters is what it's called. Ours is called Season of the Sasquatch, and it shows down here in Weirton where there was a creature that they call the Bell Hill Beast. Now, our friend Fred Saluga told us about this, and we were able to get on camera the very first eyewitness who wanted to talk about the Bell Hill Beast. So if you guys, anyone listening, and we actually film up in our S-Files. So if anyone wants to actually see part of what our S-Files look like, you'll see us, and you'll see just the one back part. It's a small room, but it's packed. And we've made that, it's kind of like a passion. Like, some people, couples will go out to bars and drink. If we find old newspaper articles, we're excited. And that's how kind of geeky we are. And then we also had Heather Moser from Small Town Monsters. She came here. And Amanda, if you think that your smile was big, hers reached ear to ear.
I can only imagine. Yes, sir.
And we actually going to meet with her soon, and we have a box of stuff from her. So we also accumulate stuff from other researchers, and we just accumulated a whole bunch from our friend who moved out west.
Amanda's also smiling, Brian, because you're a contact for her now. She loves old articles.
Yeah, isn't it fun? I mean, we're like
it's so much fun.
We're like the geeks. I mean, I've always been a geek. I've been, sci-fi.
They were teasing me at work this week. I just bought a new copy of David Paulides' book, Bigfoot, Giants, and Wildmen.
Yeah, I don't have that one yet. No.
Yeah, and it's got a ton of old newspaper articles from the early 1700s to the early 1900s. Yep. And I had the second edition of it, and I'd already gone through and highlighted. And,
I've got to buy that.
Did my nerd thing with it. Well, there's a third edition now, and I was curious to see, and it's very obviously thicker than the first one. So it was a slow day at work on Wednesday, and I had both of those books laid out, and I was going through trying to figure out which articles were new, and they were all like, "What are you doing?" And I was explaining to them, and they're like, "You really are a nerd, aren't you?" I'm like, "Yes, I am," and proud of it.
It's fun. What's really fun is. So now I'll get back to Bigfoot here, because I know you guys, you love talking Bigfoot, right?
Hey, anything goes, Mr. Seech. I'm gonna call you Mr. Brian.
Yeah, just call me Brian. Yeah.
Brian.
Yeah, we're just on the front porch having a good time, so we talk about everything.
So where we lived, it was called Hopewell, Beaver County. Okay, next, right on the Ohio line. The Ohio line is Columbiana County, Ohio. Okay, and then Hancock comes up to here. So you have three counties. We call it the tri-state triangle, basically. Everything from UFOs, Bigfoot, Thunderbirds, ghosts. We also do paranormal research. Not as much anymore, but we still do a little bit. And when you start to see patterns from one state to the next, what these creatures do, what they look like, they're the same patterns. If somebody wants to just say hi.
Hey.
This is our little kitten, Eddie. He's 6 months old.
Hi, Eddie.
6 months ago, and he's an awesome little dude.
Aw. I have two of my own that usually try to
we have
come
4
on
now.
screen too. Oh, nice.
His mom.
Amanda's, well, she's got one that'll pick the locks and come in there with her.
Yeah, they did that last week. The door wouldn't shut quite right, and they kept putting their paw in there, and eventually got the door open and came in here in the studio.
I got two things before I forget.
Sure.
So when people are listening, they're like, "Oh, old newspaper clippings. So what?" No, the reason they're valuable is because they haven't been changed or wiped from the history. You have a report from 1897 or 1922. If you go look, I have some encyclopedias from the 60s. And when I used to do papers and stuff, I would look at those to get views and things that I couldn't find anywhere else, right? There's things in those encyclopedias that you won't find in current ones.
Exactly.
And so I'm a geek, I guess, too, for the old newspaper stories, because it just shows there's been a history, and then there's a huge gap, like where everybody's quit talking about it. They're calling everybody crazy and all that. But also, when I'm not far from you. I'm 54, and when I was in 3rd or 4th grade, one of my buddies come in from the weekend. And this was like 78-ish. So he come in, and we're kids. We're worried about what toys we're going to play with or whatever. And then,
I still
me too, right? Yeah, it never leaves. So he said, y'all, I saw a pterodactyl this weekend.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
oh, really?
What's that?
Yeah, we call them Thunderbirds up here.
I didn't know, right?
Yeah.
I said, what's that? So he showed me a picture, and I'm like, he said, he said it had the head, everything was the same. He said it was massive. Well, years later, I don't remember if it was Monster Quest, shout out to Doug, or which one it was, but in the 70s, there was a wave of Thunderbirds that came through with a storm, and it dipped down, and it come up through Middle Tennessee up to y'all.
Oh.
And it was the same time period. I've got goosebumps now. My hair's standing up. I called him when I saw that episode back in the day. I said, hey, Eric, did you see that episode? He said, no. I said, you need to check it out. But it was, Brian, what was wild was not only it was just a fantastic story, but there's other stories in the same time period, the exact same time period. And they feel like they may have rode the wave up to y'all and either settled or died or whatever. But there was a wave of sightings in like just a few days there across the country. And I thought that was amazing to hear that.
Yeah, and when we talk about Thunderbirds here, especially in Pennsylvania, the Black Forest region up towards New York, like Clinton County, Kettle Creek. So they were seeing what, especially Chestnut Ridge too is one of the most famous in the country. They're seeing these things that basically look like something from the pterosaur family, whether a pterodactyl, pterodon, or they're seeing what an old prehistoric eagle. They were called pterotorns, and they were these big black prehistoric eagles. Now that's two different types of Thunderbirds being seen. And so when I say this, I'm like, so you're saying, Brian, there's dinosaurs here? I'm like, well, one of the things that, maybe not far, maybe a time slip, maybe some of these creatures, hey, there's a pterodactyl, somehow it's a time slip for 30 seconds in ours and then it bleeds back in. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out.
Right.
Sometimes we think along the same wavelength there on that stuff.
Yeah, so it's kind of like sometimes, like when you say something on a podcast, they'll say, "Oh, Brian said that these things are this." I says, "No," I said, "It's a possibility." And some people like to put words in your mouth, and there's so much that we don't know. I mean, we've been doing this for 40 years, and I don't think we know much more than when we first started. I mean, like you said about trends and patterns, and a lot of people who do ghost research, they'll be out in the cemetery and there'll be a Bigfoot there watching them. Mm-hmm. Or there'll be a UFO overhead. Now, we started about 5 years ago now, a new project which just went very, very slowly. It's called LAE, the initials LAE, Light Anomaly Exploration. And we've been researching these. We call them light spheres. Some call them orbs. Okay, but they were often seen in conjunction with Bigfoot sightings or an area that Bigfoot had been known to be. Now, so some people say, "Oh, you're saying there's a connection?" I'm like, no, I'm saying there's possibly two different phenomena that can occur at the same time. Are they connected?
You're right.
I wish I could tell you guys. I really wish I could.
You're right. When we say that, we're not saying I think the orb was connected with Bigfoot, but what we have to look at, you take the evidence that you see and you work your way back. How is this possible? So, we've seen the orbs in our Bigfoot research area. Yeah. I'm not saying either that they're connected, but I feel like it's the area that's conducive to whatever. It's like it's ripe for whatever reason, whether it's caves or minerals and
or
ports. Exactly.
And one of the things too with the portal area, I know I'm going in a bunch of different directions. I'm sorry, but
you fit in good here. Yeah.
So with some of these orb sightings and things like that, there is a possible, and we've kind of thrown it out there, weather from the sun, like coronal mass ejections, like EMFs. What's the other one? Geomagnetic storms. So let's just say, let's go to the sun, right? There's a huge geomagnetic storm, and if you guys have noticed, I don't know about down, your way, but up here we're seeing the aurora more than we ever have in our lives. Okay, in our lives, because we're getting all these geomagnetic storms. So let's say there's a place, a place that we research called Livermore. Okay, it's along the Chestnut Ridge. Boom, you get electromagnetic storm. Boom, it comes to a place. It's got rivers, it's got water, it's got valleys, it's got minerals. Boom, you put all these things together, then hey, maybe a portal or opening can form under certain conditions, and we don't know what the heck can come in and out. Again, just throwing it out there. I think that's how a lot of great discoveries get made, because I don't know what you want to call it, a hypothesis, but then you try to get evidence for that. But if you don't find evidence, you don't find evidence. So, again, could that be? It's possible.
Well, that's just normal for some of us that are curious. We might not ever have the answer, but when you see things with your own eyes and there's people with you, or you catch it on thermal with people with you, I'll send you that video after the show. But
I appreciate that. Thank you.
I've got an orb video that's kind of crazy. So anyway, it's natural for some of us. Some people see things and they're like, they don't care, or they don't want to know. With me, I'm like you. Okay, what can cause this? And it's funny you say that. You say, so well, there's more encounters happening, right? Or whatever. You pick a subject. Just what you said, we are seeing more aurora borealis than I've seen it twice in my life, and I've seen it more times in the past 2 years than I have in my whole life. So what happens when something amazing like that happens? People flood to the fields at night that they normally don't. They go away from the lights, they go away from the cities. And when you put yourself at 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night in those situations, you're gonna start seeing things we've been seeing. And I think it's shocking to them, but it floods the rural areas with new people when something like that's going on. So you have this of course, digging into this, we know everything's energy, right?
Yes.
And that we could talk about energy for weeks, but I feel like all of this, I feel like it's a combination of the normal stuff happening, but it's kind of rare, and people wanting to see it, and then they get out and might have a Bigfoot experience. Now, that person might tell Brian, I think Bigfoot's connected to the Northern Lights, and he's like, what do you do with that? But that's what happens, I believe. People that don't normally get out at those times of night, I think that's what's happening. And I'm with you. I've said this many times. I feel like it's the people. Some of the paranormal is normal. We just don't know about it. So,
and what it is, a lot of it too, you talk about energy, 100%. Also frequency. Each one of us, everything has a frequency. We all have a frequency. Amanda's frequency might be higher than mine, and she can see more. Mine might be in the middle. Roger's, maybe yours is lower.
Right.
So maybe all three of us are standing in the field, and maybe Amanda sees it fully. I barely see it. Maybe you don't see it. It happens with like a lot of even UFO sightings. There'll be 4 eyewitnesses in a field, and 3 out of the 4 see something different.
Exactly.
A lot of it too, a lot of it is also about perception, what we can see, conceive. And a lot of people don't want to hear this. Like, especially with Bigfoot, if you say that Bigfoot's not just a giant ape, like, that's why our group, we will never, like, my wife and I and our members will never be mainstream with the Bigfoot people. Never, because we do all of the paranormal. Okay, and we're throwing all the creatures under an umbrella. Okay, whether Bigfoot is paranormal or isn't. The unexplained. That's why I Center for Unexplained Events. Amanda sees something. That's an unexplained event. That's what we do. But so there's a lot of stuff out there. A lot of, even actually like for us, I don't want to say we're getting away from Bigfoot. We still take the reports, but it's just not as high up on our our interest level as it used to be.
Oh, I understand totally. You sound like you could be a co-host here, because we talk about the exact same things you're talking about, and we just try to keep an open mind. If you close off one section, that might be the bridge that leads you to the other thing, right? So, I I can't believe he's saying all this, because we're right on board with you.
Like there's that old saying. It says, "I know that I do not know." I'm sure you've heard that one.
Yep.
I think that's healthy, and that shows if you're aware of all you don't know, then you're on the right track.
I hope so. I've been doing this long
No,
enough.
you're good.
I hope I'm on the right track and not right in the middle of the track. I always tell people when we do our presentation, my wife and I do presentations. We're getting close to 100 here. I think one or two more, and we're at 100 together, and I'm proud of that. But we say, hey, and I even apologize. I'm like, I have to apologize to you that I can't give you, everybody's sitting here watching. I'm sorry, I can't give you definite answers. I really am sorry. I'm going to do the best I can, try and explain it, but do your own research too.
Right.
And then somebody told me one time, it's okay to say you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
But a lot of, and you guys, I'm sure you've already dealt with a lot of the ego in the Bigfoot field, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Why? It's like,
well,
I don't care if you're like this, like the talking head or whatever. Oh, sorry, I accidentally hit my cat. Sorry. I use my hands a lot, and I have to sit on mine or wear oven mitts, because they make fun of me because I talk with my hands. Yeah, and so I'm like, here's what we know. Here's some of the experiences. Here's some of the eyewitness testimony and we're pretty big into drawings. We try to ask people, please, can you draw what you saw? And we get we don't get a lot of response, guys. We really don't. But we have a book of everything from Dogman to to Bigfoot. One pterodactyl report, and a couple of Dogman reports. We researched the Dogman too. Some UFO drawings. We've seen several UFOs over our time in the field. So we've had some pretty cool ghost experiences. I saw, and actually, if I can, right in that doorway right there, I saw a figured apparition of an old female.
Oh, gracious.
My wife was actually sitting right here, and our bathroom is that way or that way. And I was coming out, and right where that doorway was, it looked like a woman, an older woman, but she was kind of a little hunched, and she walked into the kitchen, and I came and I said, hey, Tara. Again, I'm looking that way, and she's sitting here, and she goes, what? And she goes, my face must have been white. And she goes, what happened? Did you see a ghost? I said, I think I did. I saw it.
I've done that with my husband as well. I've seen a lot of things, and he's like, did you see a ghost? I'm like, actually, yeah, I think I did. I've said those exact words before. And that's funny.
And the fact that we're all wired different, and some of us see things that other people may not. It's happened to me. I've seen something clear as day at nighttime, and my wife's sitting there in the truck with me and didn't see it, and it was so obvious. And then she's seen things that I haven't seen. So I totally agree, and I think that's what makes people like us curious. if I have friends that have never had anything weird happen to them whatsoever, they could give to whatever. They don't care about none of this. But once you see something, that's like if somebody comes to you, Brian, out of 100 people, 2 of them might want to draw something. They don't want attention, right? They don't want people thinking they're crazy. So it's hard. There's tons of people that have had experiences, but there's very few that want to come on a show like this or talk to you and actually physically spend time drawing it out, because it for a lot of those people, it's very traumatic. It's scary to me when it happens, but it's done. I'm 54 years old now, and I'm like, oh, not again. It's like it's not. I get excited when we find Bigfoot evidence or whatever, but I'm scared of the paranormal stuff. I don't know why.
But I think it's something you can't see. At least these other things, you can see them coming, and if they're going to come and rip you apart, at least you can see it. It's what you don't see that's scary. Talking about that, one of the things that we've been kind of also pushing and talking about is these, we call them, the best way we put them is we say shimmering predator type entities. Now, everybody knows predator. Everybody knows that shimmer. Everybody knows you can see right through this stupid thing. You can see the woods through it. You can see the outline. I just received a report, less than a month ago. It was an older report. A guy was coming out of it. This was in Allegheny County, closer to Pittsburgh. And it was about 4 a.m. He comes out. He has spotlights on his garage, motion sensor spotlight. So he's coming. He's not in that sensor range yet. Boom, sensors go on. He sees an outline of a huge something. And the top of it looked like it was glowing a little bit. It stood there. It saw him. He said it turned, and when he turned, he saw the full outline. And he saw the garage right through it, right in front of him.
Oh, wow.
It ran. It was about 80 to 85, 90 yards. It ran from the garage to the wood line, and he heard something crashing through the wood. He says in a matter of 4 seconds it was there. I mean, something to run that quick, that big, that quick. And then he said, I know it hit the wood line because it was crashing. It was like crashing through, busting through the woods. And he goes, it only took about 4 seconds. And so far we've received about 5 of those reports. So people don't want to talk about it. Say, okay, now the predators out there, huh, Brian? It's not bad enough. You're looking for werewolves. Now you're looking for predators. What's next? A tooth fairy?
Why not?
Well, look, and when people give descriptions, it's natural to, okay, well, I saw the Predator movie. It was kind of like that, So Mark Green, our good buddy, he was on a documentary, and he was trying to explain how horrible this Bigfoot scream was, and they call it the T-Rex roar. Well, in chat, and some trolls are like, how do you know what a T-Rex sounds like? Well, we watched Jurassic Park, and what that sounds like. You're trying to paint a picture for people to kind of put them there and show why you were scared. And then, with people, first time experiencers, God, it takes a huge amount of courage to call you or people that take reports, because they don't know, because you're a little self-conscious. First time I told my stories publicly, I was scared to death. I was nervous. I was shaking, but it was so therapeutic to finally just get it out there.
Sometimes, when I tell people, I'm like, sometimes it might sound crazy. It's almost like we're therapists in a way.
Definitely.
Somebody, and I remember when we first got into this, one of the first Bigfoot reports that we took, it was at a park called Brady's Run Park. And I was talking about Bigfoot, and a friend of ours was her friend. She says, I saw it. And we were at like a Mystic show or something. And all of a sudden, she had goosebumps up and down her arm, and she goes, I haven't told anybody about this for years. And she drew it and everything. And it's one of the best drawings we have. The creature, it was after a storm, and her friend and her were on horseback. So they're going up this trail, and they see something off to their left. And this creature stands up, both hands like this, growled, showed its teeth, and they just took off. Both of them took off straight to the up to the top of the hill. When they got to the top of the hill, our friend asked the other lady, "Did you see that?" She says, "No, I didn't see it. I didn't see nothing. I'm never talking about it again." And to this day, refuses to admit she saw it. And ironically, like the weight what that creature did, this is like about 6.5 foot tall brown creature, which a brown creature was seen 5 years prior, almost right down by the lake, Brady's Run Lake. And on Finding Bigfoot, I don't know if you guys watched Finding Bigfoot at all when it was on during its heyday. I mean, I'm not like crazy for it either, man, to believe me, but I want to learn about, even if I can pick one or two morsels from it.
Exactly, same with me.
Yes, exactly. They went to Sumatra looking for the orang pendek, the small ape-like creature. And one of the eyewitnesses says, put its hands up. It was a smaller one now. Put its hands up and growled. And I'm like, that gave me goosebumps. I'm like, oh my God, Sumatra, Beaver County. Same, again, slightly different what they look like. Same behavior. That was like, wow. That was like, that really, very few things. Like you're talking about a detective putting puzzle pieces together.
Right.
Boom. Halfway across the world, they're exhibiting the same.
Exactly.
Cool.
Isn't it amazing how some of the reports of other Bigfoot-like creatures, Yirin, Yowie, all these other international versions are so similar to Sasquatch or Bigfoot here.
So that's why I think
that's one of my things I think is just so fascinating about that subject matter. What I tell
skeptics. So every single person, thousands of reports across the whole globe, they're all mistaken identities. They're all apes. All it takes is one.
That's right.
Right.
And there have been, of course, there have been times where there was an animal, a regular, normal animal that we know about in a place it shouldn't be. What popped in my head, there was a TikTok video. It was funny. The guy was in the hunting blind, and it was right before daylight, and he was using his phone. And the guy, his hunting party heard him shoot 5 times. And they went running down there, and he said, "What happened? I just shot a Bigfoot." It reached in and grabbed my cell phone and took off running with it. And they're like, "Well, let's go see." There was a blood trail and everything. "Well, let's go see." I'm going to the truck. Y'all can go see. And it got down there. It was a silverback gorilla in the United States. It wasn't, where did it come from? Yeah, yes, there can be things like that. And you're talking about similarities. So our buddy Greg Howes in Alabama, the first one he saw, he was telling me how it jumped up on the road. It leaped from 1 foot, landed in the middle of the road. He said, but its back was straight, and it looked like a Scooby-Doo run almost. Like the legs were moving so fast, and it ran with a straight back. And then I see a video later of a silverback gorilla running, and it's similar. You know what I mean? So there could be things like that, but I think that's more rare. Wouldn't you know about that? I know my friend in Kentucky. I'll cut this short. I went to visit him in Olive Hill. It's not too far from you, probably. Huntington, West Virginia is right across there. We were throwing a football, and I heard this hellacious noise. And what is that? He's back in the hollers. He said, "Oh, my neighbor won a line in a poker game." Wow. And I'm like, what? So I go in the house and stay in the house for the next 3 days. I'm not getting out there. But we understand that can happen.
Yeah.
But I feel like, the continents used to be connected. They've split apart. Who's to say some of those animals over there didn't take a ride and create more animals? But I know they're rare. But I'm all over the place too, y'all, because I love conversations like this, because you've talked to so many different types of witnesses with different things. I had a theory talking to some family that some of us you talked about frequencies and all that. With light spectrum also, we see here normally.
Yes, but it could be outside of yes, exactly.
So what if somebody can see in a sliver of light about 5 over that we can't see? right?
Exactly. A lot of it could be in the eyes too. Not just frequency, both maybe.
Exactly.
Yep.
So thoughts like that only come from curious people. Like you said earlier, you're spitballing, throwing stuff against the wall. Well, 99 of them may be totally off base, but that one time you might hit it, So we a lot of my friends that are into this, we talk about it on the phone and we laugh and cut up. But when it comes time to, like, people like you, Brian, you and your wife, take it seriously, and the person went through a traumatic experience. Think about what they're explaining to you. If I come to you and let's say I saw what the young man saw at the airport here, I would feel so self-conscious. Like, Brian, I know you're not going to believe this, but what I saw and tell you what it looked like, it's so hard to do that. But anyway, I'll let you continue. I have all these thoughts.
I saw somebody did put about Clarion County. We did. I actually got a report from one of the guys I used to work with and he was staying at a friend at Clarion County. Now, again, he didn't really say exactly where in Clarion County. And Mark Eddy, thank you, Mark. Mark Eddy's a friend of mine. I'm just seeing stuff pop up down there. So he said, I was at my friend's house, and his mom said, I heard something screaming outside. So they go outside, and he says they go into the woods a little bit because they lived in a trailer in the outskirts. There was woods out there. He said this huge dark thing is in the wood line, and it started screaming. He said they turned back around and they ran in the house and they barricaded the door. And he goes, you know what? He goes, I think it's a Bigfoot. It was huge. It didn't look like a bear, and it screamed at us. But that's the only one actually from. I know that there's Clarion County for sure has multiple sightings there. It's a little farther north for me, so I've only got up there like maybe one time. So yeah. But thanks for asking. Yeah.
What's the I won't say the best. What's one of your most favorite reports that you've taken?
Well, the first one that I said about Brady's Run Park, because that was our first one, and just something about that. The first time you do something, it's like, wow, it always sticks with you.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
So when people ask about like what's our best case, I take about. There's been 11, but we've investigated 7, maybe 8 now because we didn't really go there. So we lived in Beaver County. There's Lawrence County up here, and there's Columbiana County, Ohio. Like within those 3 states, we've researched 7 white Bigfoot reports. And what I tell people, it could be the highest concentration of white Bigfoot reports in the country in like three counties. Again,
that's really cool.
I've never really looked at it, but so people say a white Bigfoot.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't it be easier? I'm like, I'm just telling you what they told me. Okay. Right. All of them except one. One was 4 foot tall. It was a small one in a park, Cascade Park, if anyone in Lawrence County. The others were all almost the same. They were about 6.5, 7 foot tall, white. One of them actually hopped, believe it or not. It hopped from tree to tree. The other ones were, they would lope. This one hopped from tree to tree. And in several of them, one in Beaver Creek State Park, I know you've probably heard about that. That's in Ohio. And then right across the border in PA, the lady saw it 3 times over 20 years, and that guy saw it once. It had like hair, kind of like over its eyes. You barely saw the color of the eyes. I'm trying to think. I think they were yellowish. And I had 2 eyewitnesses. I couldn't make it. They met, and they said, we saw the same thing. And where the one lady saw the 3, and as the stones, how they say, as the crow flies or whatever, might have been like 8 miles. So again, no, we have not received any new. I did receive one newer, older report, if that makes sense. Nothing new. We just call him Whitey. We call him Whitey. Hey, you saw Whitey. But yeah, it's as a conglomerate, those cases together.
That's really cool. I know of at least 3 reports here in the North Georgia area that David, the museum owner I work for, has taken.
David Bacara?
Yes, sir.
Oh, Dave's awesome. I met him one time, and I just think the dude's awesome. I would love to get down there one time. He was down in He was down at the Mothman Festival when I was down there.
Gotcha.
And,
yeah.
Just awesome.
Well, yeah, because the map that we have there has got 1, 2, 3 that I know of. I don't know the exact dates of them, but I know of 3 that are on our little tracking.
They're rare. They are very rare, but they do happen.
They are. And think of where the name the Alabama White thing came from.
Yeah, exactly.
Got to come from somewhere.
Yep. If you look on the map at Flintville, Tennessee, the Flintville Monster, as a crow flies, I'm about 20, 25 miles from there. Mm-hmm. And my wife's sisters, people have heard me tell this before, they didn't know that I was into this. And she found out, and she paused, and she said, "Heather, did we tell you about the white one we saw back in the early 2000s?" And I'm like floored, but we're only 22 miles from the Alabama line, right, in the Flintville. But you got these train tracks and these rivers that run. It's perfect. The places that you're explaining, some of the places in Alabama, the terrain is perfect for this, because there are places probably that humans never step foot on, because it's so rugged. And that's where you're going to find, usually as a rule. Now, we do know that dumpsters behind McDonald's or Dairy Queen with sweet, they're going to draw, sugar can make you do some crazy things. So, animals are the same way. And don't get on to me for saying animals, y'all. They just, I don't know what to call them.
Exactly. I did. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I've said that about dumpsters myself, that down Beaver Creek, apparently there's a family campground, and somebody saw one opening the lid and rooting through. I'm like, they laughed at it. I'm like, why would you laugh at that? They call them opportunists, right? If they got an opportunity to eat something, what does Bigfoot eat? We say anything at once.
That's right. Hey, Brian, can you do me a favor? Is that your mic hanging from your ear? Oh,
yes.
Can you pull it up a little bit? It's rubbing your shirt when you're done. You're good. You're good. Yeah, you're good. It was just when you were moving, it was touching your shirt. That's it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're good. Now, and there was reports somewhere up north where there were some Bigfoots eating out of dumpsters where people were in line to drop their kids off at school, and the cops came out and had to handle that. And it's funny how these official reports are never official. You can't go look, because the local sheriff, Joe, he don't want to be ridiculed either. He wants to be reelected again.
Exactly.
So he
probably just show up as unknown or unidentified animal in the report or something.
Yeah, exactly. So there are pockets around this country, lots of different pockets of activity that it just gets swept under the rug. And I wish that would stop. I have a local guy, I'm not going to mention his name. He's high up in the sheriff's department, and he was telling me about a couple of 911 calls they got in the late 90s close to where I saw mine. And I never had heard of that before. And I was like, is there any way I can get that? And he said, it's buried. If I ever get a chance, I would love to have that 911 call. And guess where the guy was from? It was right on the interstate, and people travel and they get off at some of those roads and go to another little town. This guy was from West Virginia.
Okay.
And he said, no, I know what a bear looks like. He said it wasn't a bear. It walked across the road and looked in my windshield at me, stepped over the fence without touching it. It was a Bigfoot. I know what it was.
And so what people say too about Bigfoot, okay, 6, sometimes maybe 6.5, 7 in some cases, but they all report the same thing. Huge shoulders, big, wide, like sort of like a linebacker. And just that's what more than the actual height is the width and how big some of these things are. Now, it seems like the ones out west are even bigger. I just think there's more room to roam, things like that, maybe even better food supply. But the ones here too, they have the wide shoulders. I mean, they do. They may be a little skinnier as the ones out west. But I'm telling you, they always have those shoulders. How big this thing was.
Well, what it does, it makes it for a witness, it makes it unmistakable. And then you got the people, you sure it wasn't a bear? Well, if a bear stands up, there's two differences. It's not going to have shoulders. And I tell people all the time, every time I've ever seen a bear, it looked like a bear. So I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
And then they run. I mean, they can just, they run just a little. They're so very clumsy. These things can take off, and with the speeds they can take off, it's not a bear. I mean, I guess if you're driving down the road and you see something out of the corner, you're like, yeah, maybe a bear. But most of the people who get a good, even 5 or 6 seconds of that's not a bear.
Right.
Yeah.
I've even heard reports, Brian, of I don't remember. I listened to so much because even though we're doing a show, I like to listen to people. I like to listen to them tell their stories, first of all, to kind of see how they go about it. And sometimes I'm like, yeah, they're telling the truth, which I'm not judging anybody. I just love to listen to the stories because you pick up little things. There was one where a hunter out west, he was stalking and he saw something, and maybe, I don't know where it was at, but he said he saw this Bigfoot with its arm on a fence post, just kind of leaning on it, watching a herd of maybe deer or elk or something. So that's, a bear's not going to rest its elbow up on that's a human characteristic, that we would do. So I love hearing those little details. And I know Amanda, I mean, she takes reports every week. That's the little details I like listening to, though.
It's always the little details about makes the stories.
For the winged entities, the gargoyles type, that's what they call them, gargoyle up here. Bent back legs.
Mm-hmm.
And the one in Allentown crossed the road, and they specifically said when it walked, it looked like a chicken. Okay. You know how the chickens kind of walk really well. There was a report from Puerto Rico. I was reading in a magazine, a night watchman. He saw one of these things. He said it was walking. He said it walked like a chicken. It had bent back legs. Again, there's those characteristics. Boom. Puerto Rico, Pennsylvania, a good distance there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So almost the same characteristics. So that's what, like when when I'm reading and I get those same characteristics, that's like, wow, it gives me a shot of adrenaline. I mean, it really does. I know it.
Yep.
It sounds like a geek, geeky.
No, I totally understand, because
it's the little details that.
And it's funny, like, talking from experience, when something happens that you're not expecting, it's funny what your mind focuses on,
Mm-hmm.
And so all of this weirdness is going on. And the only thing this guy could identify was it walked like a chicken.
Exactly.
Because he knew what a chicken looked like, right?
Exactly.
So it scrambles your brain, and I feel blessed to be able to, have told my story and listen to others. But y'all, if you haven't, you don't have to go on a show and tell your story. I'm not trying to get guests. These people in chat, a lot of them, if you get to know them, add them on Facebook, and if they act right, just kind of talk to them, because we're all in the same boat. It's just I've got a computer and a mic, and we're just up here talking about it. But just, I promise you, find somebody you trust and talk. Call Brian.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's not gonna put your information out there.
Yeah, we as a rule, we do not give out names. Anonymity. You guys deserve it. Whatever. We will talk about the sighting, but we're not going to say, hey, it was on Route 22 right next to the McDonald's, or we don't give exact details.
Right.
And never use names. But we will kind of like at least say, hey, this happened in Beaver County, things like that. And most people are good to tell you their story, even despite what some people say. Hey, they don't even want. I can't even tell you that I talked to them. I'm like, most people would at least want to get their stories out. Just don't use their names and don't use an exact location.
Mm-hmm.
Most people are going to be fine because I'll tell them, I'm like, hey, if I hear something closer, can I call you back or can I contact you? And they all say, yeah, please. It makes them feel good. It's validating what they saw. Somebody else saw it, and it means a lot. It means the world to these people.
You're right.
It does.
And
you're right.
I think we should all treat it as such. I mean, I know I've talked to some people. Oh, I've got 400 or 500 reports, but I can't release one of them.
Right.
Why are you doing it? Are you in it for ego? Why are you? I just don't understand that. Like you guys, you both talked about, hey, somebody saw something here, vague, but at least, or it exhibited this characteristics. That's not. They'll never get back to that person. I'm like, so there's a lot, and as you guys know, so much ego in this field. It's tarnished a lot for me.
It is. It has.
Bigfoot field. It really has, guys.
I totally understand. I was warned. Are you sure you want to do that? Because their people are vicious. And you know what? I don't care. We have comments made. People share some of our screenshots or whatever, and they make horrible comments, but they don't watch the shows because some of the comments, it's obvious that they didn't watch the show. They'll read the title or whatever. But Brian, another thing also, some of these, we're talking is trolls. They're scared. They're scared that it could be true, possibly. Some of the ego stuff. I go by how people treat me. You know what I mean? That's the proof in the pudding. How you treat me is how I treat you. If somebody had 20 years ago got sideways of each other, that didn't have nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not going to choose sides. Now, if you make me choose sides, I'm not going to choose any side.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. So we're doing this while we're doing it. We don't have to explain it to anybody. We're trying to get the truth, hear the truth. And there's sometimes, I'm hurting, don't feel like doing the show, but you know what keeps me going is these people in chat right here. Cause a lot of them have experienced things and they don't have anywhere else to go to talk about it. They don't have like-minded people. They don't have a library to go and have a Bigfoot get together. Right. This is that. You see me on other people's shows in chat because I'm doing the same thing. And you're right. You made a statement there that's absolutely 100% correct. Even though I know they're real, I've had my own stuff happen. Man, if Brian tells me a story and I'm like, oh, it's awesome. It's almost what was the word you used? It just lets you know you're not crazy. You know what I'm saying? And it's
validation.
There you go. Validation.
And
yes.
The Eyewitness, we wouldn't be anywhere without the Eyewitnesses. We wouldn't be anywhere without our fellow. We have a wide net of people that we research with, and ghosts, Bigfoot, and UFOs up here in West Virginia, PA, and Ohio. Great people, and I would say 95% of the people are good in this field.
Yeah.
The negative to that those 5% are known, and they cause so much grief. And people do know, even though these 5% think they can get away with things, they're known. They're known.
Well, here's the thing. Just in life in general, that 5% makes the rest of us look bad.
Yes.
So I'm with you on that. I don't have time. I've had people that's, if they want something from you, oh, you're the best thing since sliced bread.
Exactly.
Right. And I have been treated one way on the internet. Oh, Roger, hey, how's it going? Then somewhere where you meet them and then they hi-hat me because there's a better known person. That don't bug me personally, but I just pay attention to that. Okay, that's how you are.
Just file it away. And that's
exactly
so for people like that, the best thing to do, it's just like, okay, I don't want to deal with you. I'm not gonna cause you any trouble ever, but I'm not gonna. You might get a high, but I mean, I know what you are, and what do you call it? You just deal with it. Like all the people in the chat room, they they want to hear. There may be a lot of people in this room that have seen something and they still won't talk about it. But
yes.
They're waiting for that one show, that one specific person to say, this creature floated. I'm just saying, just throwing that out.
Yeah.
Mine did too.
That was one of the many reasons I came out public with some of the other stuff that I've seen besides just Bigfoot, is just from listening to other podcasts and shows and things like that. And I was just like, wow, how cool is that that person was brave enough to share that information, that it might help somebody else who has had a similar situation to know, oh my gosh, okay, I'm not alone. I'm not crazy. So, as long as it can be helpful and beneficial to somebody else, and that's all I want out of it.
Yeah, because I always say, at the end, we're closer to my wife and I are closer to the end of our research than we are the beginning, and we know that. You know when it's coming,
right?
And still, we haven't had a book out yet. I mean, we want to maybe try to do this one, a local one here, for a bunch of reasons. But I've been asked that so many times. Why don't you have a book out? I'm like, I want to be honest with you guys. It was, first of all, it's a lot of work. Okay?
Yeah, yes, it is.
It's never been like high on our priority list, and there's a lot of people that it is high on their priority list, and I'm glad they get the material out so like I can read it too. I mean, I love authors. We've given a lot of our research to authors, and we buy their stuff, we promote their things for them. Even like the podcasters, you guys, applaud what you guys do. It's like I've been asked, like, would you ever do a podcast? It's like it's work, and you guys know that it's so much work. You have to commit time, and you just can't come on. You research the person. You try to line people up, and like tonight, I'm so lucky that I was able to talk.
You just got a good woman in the house. That's what it is.
We always say that we used to live in Beavercon. That we were the Mulder and Scully of Beavercon. Not Scully.
So, with you doing it for as long as you have, and being on some of the I love a lot of the shows, but I like the way Small Town Monsters, the feel of the way they do things.
They do it. They do an awesome job.
And some others, we've had Jill on with Flash of Beauty. She's been down in the South with some of our friends.
I saw that one. I saw that one.
Her and her husband, and they've always treated me with respect, even though we're a small show. I pay attention to that. But what goes through your mind when, let's say, hey, you want to be in a Mothman movie as an extra? How does that work?
When they did that, they filmed around Pittsburgh, okay, and when the small part I did was up at the Cathedral of Learning, and that's actually the guys are Gear and Leak are coming up the steps, or Alan Bates and Richard Gere, and I'm walking towards. I mean, you see my figure; it's darkened, but I'm walking. I'm carrying a briefcase actually, but I heard they were looking for extras, and I was like, after Bigfoot, Mothman was. I still remember the first time I read this winged creature was flying next to a car at 100 miles an hour. I was hooked. Mothman is my second favorite after Bigfoot, and I was down there. I've been down there probably 8 or 9 times at the festival. I was able to speak twice, and I may be doing it again this year.
There you go.
But it is so much fun. Everybody down there, it's just like a big party. Just so much. It's a good feel. Have you guys ever been down to the Mothman Festival or no?
I haven't.
No, unfortunately, haven't got to make it there yet.
It is packed. They closed down half the town. It's just packed, but it's such a good feel down there. Good feel from the people. Now, just right across the river, the bridge collapsed and killed 46 people. And there was this winged creature there. They massacred Chief Cornstalk. There's a lot of negative energy that's still there. But that weekend, the people bring it up, and just you got to make it on your bucket list. You got to go there once. You really got to go there. It's just so cool. I mean,
so I have all these random thoughts. You're talking about Mothman, and you look at cave drawings, you look at architecture, you through the centuries, and there's all of these creatures represented of all types. But then you get to 2025, and people are like, "Oh, you're crazy." Well, what happened back then? There were no. I think, like Edgar Allan Poe was not the first, but there was other people to write a horror stories, right? There was some in the past, but that just wasn't something. Maybe that was part of it. I don't know. But when you look at some of the buildings in some of these big cities, and you really get to looking at them, kind of freaks you out a little bit.
You know, they got the gargoyles on the, you know, and, even like, you know, the Native Americans, they drew what they saw.
Exactly.
They saw these hairy creatures. They saw these beings with big eyes, and you've seen those the drawings or the carvings. They got the almond eyes like the Greys do. I mean, that's so you know, what do they see?
Well, Brian, I feel like that's their version of what we're doing right now and what you guys are doing. We're documenting is documenting. However you do it, whether it's video, it's the book, you know, that other people write, or you gathering all of this information and putting it in one spot. Amanda doing what she does. It's I didn't expect it to turn into something like that, but I realized it early on. Now, this could be up for a while. You know, when I'm not here, somebody sees a Bigfoot. They're looking. They're in Pennsylvania and they're searching, and Brian Seech pops up. None of us are here anymore, but like, hey, Brian Seech, what did he get into? And and that's kind of humbling a little bit. Which I think that's what keeps me going too. There's plenty of times when I could have just packed it up and went home, but I feel like we're doing something. I feel like we're an underground network, so to speak, and we're doing something out of the curiosity, things that happen to us, and the love of people. You know, so when a troll attacks me, I don't even, you know what?
Oh, and I talk to a lot of researchers that, you know, they'll post online somebody attacked them, and I'm like, don't worry about these. Well, I'm not going to swear or say something about them, but you're better than them. I mean, they're jealous. You know, the one thing I've always said, you know what the easiest thing in the world to do or to be is? Do you know what it is?
What's that?
Skeptic. All you got to do, like I'm doing right now, you sit on your ass and you say, show me.
Yep.
The hardest thing to do is what me and you are doing. Out there trying to find information, trying to find the truth. So isn't you know, skeptic one letter from septic?
Basically, yeah.
So it's kind of like, yeah, it's well, I don't believe it. Okay. I mean, I always say I put the information, the best that our organization has, out.
Now,
believe it, don't believe it. It doesn't even bother me anymore. I will do whatever. I'm just
okay.
You must be interested because you're listening to me, right?
If you and I are talking privately, and you tell me about this creature that I've never heard about, I've never had any experience with, I'm probably going to go, whoa, you know, then listen to you, and then file that away also. But when it comes to things that I've experienced, like I tell people all the time, the only thing I know 100% for sure is what's happened to me, what I've seen.
Yeah.
You can tell me what's happened to you. Amanda can tell me what's happened to her. And because we trust each other, we believe each other, right? But when somebody tries to troll me or be a skeptic over something I've physically, personally witnessed, they don't know that fear. They don't know what it feels like standing in the woods and being surrounded by things throwing 20 and 30 pound boulders and picking up logs and screaming, and that's when it gets real. So I understand on one end, and I didn't mean to get talking about trolls here, but it's just part of it. We have to learn. It's just like we had a store for 30 years on interstate. I had to learn early on how to handle my business. If somebody did something to me, I had to wipe it away, and the next person stepped up. I had to treat them with respect and forget about. That's easier said than done. But I think that job with my parents seasoned me for this, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I tell you have to have a hard skin to be, especially to do what you guys do. We've been doing it, but we're still not that well known. Even after 40 years, we really aren't. And you know, yeah, trolls are cryptids too, right? I mean, we have the Fae folk, and my wife and her friends study the Fae folk, the little people. Okay, so, but yeah, it's, you got to do it. Like when we're out there, I enjoy this. Now, do I enjoy the conferences as much? No, I don't. The big conferences, like last 2 years in Beaver County, we've done libraries. One was at an Heritage Museum, 100 people. The Monaca Library, like a couple months ago, like almost 100 people. They loved it. That's what I'd rather do. I'd rather go to libraries. I'd rather go to smaller things. You go to conferences, if somebody's paying to come in, they're going to watch your thing and nitpick you to death. But if you're getting the library, you know, doing your own time and saying, hey, these people love it. I would rather, we're actually gearing towards more of that, the smaller things as we progress into retirement.
Well, the first Bigfoot conference I went to was in Gatlinburg a couple years ago. And I learned more from the crowd than I did. And I'm not saying anything about the speakers. They did a great job. But I actually learned more in the crowd talking to people, because I'm not shy. I used to be. I'm like, hey, what are you doing here? What's your interest? You know, what brought you here? And I hadn't even started a podcast yet, but that's just my nature, because we had a store. I talked to people from all over the world. And a lot of them, they whip out their phone. Look at these tracks I found last week.
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy crap. You know, I've seen
some really nice pictures. I'm like,
oh my God.
Most of them don't, but it's like, you know, some do. And I'm like, wow, look at this. And, you know,
sometimes you're even afraid to ask them to send it to you, because I mean, then they'll be like, oh no, now I really don't trust you because you just did it for yourself.
Right. Exactly. So I do believe that the majority in this field are good. I do. And you know, and in it for the right reasons.
Exactly.
Knowledge. And yeah, I mean, it's cool. Like you said, you get on Small Town Monsters. I was actually on Monsters and Mysteries in America, if you remember that show. I was on those episodes. It's cool when somebody say, I saw you on there. I'm like, that was like 8 years ago. That's cool. It's still out there. No, you know, well, it's funny, but yeah.
I saw you on something probably a couple years ago, and I'm like, I send friend requests, but then I don't engage with anybody. I'm like, I let people see that I'm not, you know, an idiot. Like we have, and that's another thing. The people that get upset about the legit questions, actually, some of your experts will get upset about a legit question. What you've got to think of yourself as a teacher. If you got people coming to you, they don't know everything you know. They're trying to figure out things. And unfortunately, I have heard stories of well-known people that, you know, they were busy and they didn't have time to talk to somebody, and it just kind of ruined they were fans of them. But I can tell you, and I know me and Amanda and a lot of people in chat and friends we made, we all have senses of humor. It's hard to hurt somebody that grew up in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, that watched some of the shows we did, that have senses of humor, right? These people that are uptight, oh, you can dig at them. You can get to them. You can get under their skin.
Yeah, I mean, I make fun of myself more than anybody. Anyway, I'm cool with it. I mean, I like a good laugh, and you know, very very few times anymore do I really get upset. It just, I mean, then you let them win, you know.
Yeah. So Sophia brought up something. I'm gonna Sophia talking about the Detloff Pass. I made a little video on TikTok, and that thing's like 500,000 views. I didn't realize, and it's like 30 seconds. I didn't realize how many people are still interested in that, but it's such a mystery. And there's so many different explanations that came along decades later, that it's misinformation too. I don't know whether it was on purpose or whatever, but that always has intrigued me, that story. But yeah, y'all, I'm sure you've been living under a rock if you don't know about the Detloff Pass, but y'all go check that out. They have a website that have actual pictures from their cameras, all of their cameras.
Yeah, and there is the one with looks like the Yeti, a Bigfoot type creature, and that was a pretty interesting picture. I will say that.
It is, yeah.
And me, you know, we talk about the little details. The one detail that stood out to me and hooked me in was that the tent was cut from the inside. You know what I mean? So you're trying to see you ever been in a tent when something's going on? You can't tell. You know, these people were scared enough in this frigid temperature with the wind blowing. They were scared enough to risk their life to cut a hole in the tent to see what was outside.
Yeah.
Now that one little point there is, I keep going back to that when people say it was an avalanche or whatever. But
anyway. I've heard all the theories, Bigfoot, a UFO. I've heard, it was a government, some kind of an explosion that did it. I mean, who knows? I mean,
who knows?
And a lot of countries, they handle their information because back in the day, it seemed like it's way different nowadays. But not too long ago, countries held back information because they didn't want to look silly either.
Exactly.
I've heard stories of some things that have happened that didn't go reported for that reason. But yeah, it's but that just goes to show you this is not a Pennsylvania thing. No. This is not a Southern Middle Tennessee thing. This is worldwide.
Yeah.
And how many people, there's not many people doing what y'all do. You're putting pins on a map, basically. Amanda's putting pins on a map. I'm locally got a small cluster, but that cluster to me means the world to me because it's close to where I had my experience. So when I started getting those coming in, hey, don't say my name, but I was in this hall, I was on this road. I'm like, oh my God, that's 2 miles from where I saw that one. So it's and what I don't know. I commend you too, and you and your wife for doing that. And it may be a small thing right now, but it could be a big thing later,
we already kind of, making plans what to do with the info once we go to that happy hunting ground in the sky. Right. But,
right.
It will go to, especially it's for us, especially the newspaper articles and the binders of newspaper. I mean, we must have 10 binders just of newspaper articles. And
wow.
We will start to show a lot of that in a couple months. I want to make next year the year of Q, and I want to really, take pictures and throw stuff out what we have and things like that. And, just in case it's our last big year, so to speak. So I want to at least go out on top, both of us.
Well, and when you do that, I'm not saying come on the show. I'm saying just let me know, like on Facebook and stuff. We'll reshare for you.
Yes, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because
more than share that for you.
I know David Becerra watches us.
Oh yeah.
I was thinking, boy, that'd make a good museum exhibit, but I'm not going to say anything. But there's no ego. Me and Amanda and Ashley and a lot of our friends. I don't care if I get some great evidence, and as long as it gets out there, I don't care to put my name on it because that's not what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
There are people out there, they've got this idea in their head that they're going to make. I have no idea. I have no problem with people making money at all. They don't.
Neither do I.
We've been in business for all my life. I grew up learning how to price cans of beans when I was like 5. So my daddy taught me how to figure the profit and all that. So I think it's important for the subject for people like us to be involved. And I'm not putting me in that because of the no egos, because we don't, we just want the truth out there. And that's, and the thing is, if you put it in a book and want to charge $25, that's okay. That's cool. You know what I'm saying? I would probably buy it. So, and I know Amanda would. She'd buy 3 copies in case you want to read it more than once.
But yeah, I mean, we will. That's I think, because I'm closer to retirement now than I ever was, right? And so that could be like a little extra source of income, after retirement. And we have time to do that. But the one thing that I told my wife is I don't want to, even in retirement. I know people out there, they're going to something every weekend, and I'm like, I still don't want to go to something every weekend. And and maybe like we tend to do our talks and things, we tend to do them in almost like, we might do like in October, we might do 3 or 4 just in October, and then 2 or 3 here, and then have months with nothing. And I like that. Like I know, like right now, after this show here, I'm going to be back on Midnight Lycanthropy with Kenny Thibio. I don't know if you know Kenny or not. And then that's going to be it for the year. And I I'm doing a cryptid panel in, I think, April. So I don't really have a lot. So that could give me time to maybe start on this book. So
That's cool. Do people reach out to you to do these talks or shows? Not shows, the presentations that you do, or do you guys schedule them yourselves?
You know, when I say that we're not well known, we're more well known just in a couple states up here. Okay,
Understood.
And there's a big network up here. So this person will say, "Hey, we haven't had him on. Let's get him on. Let's get them both on." We do more talks together now than we ever did.
Mm-hmm.
We try to do. We try not to turn anybody down, but like the ones that I'd love to go to CryptidCon once. I don't know if you've ever been to that in Kentucky.
Not yet. It's on my list as well.
I'd like to go there one time to speak, just so I say I did it. I always say that. I want to go there one time just to say I did it. That's it. I don't have to go ever again. That's why I want to do Mothman one more time, which will make 3 for me, and then I'm good, But yeah, but some of the local ones we do try to go and we try to accommodate everybody. Sometimes we can't. I feel bad.
Right.
Yeah,
we try.
It's just I don't know. I mean, I would like to try it, but Amanda did a good job. She was at one in Georgia, right?
Yeah, it was one in Georgia. A gentleman, Neil Ryder, put it on. It was called the Encounters Conference, and through word of mouth, he found me and invited me to speak. And that was my first speaking gig on this kind of stuff, and it was a new experience. I actually enjoyed it, and
did a good job.
Yeah, it was a new experience for sure.
The hardest part I've always found is for both of us, the beginning.
Yes.
Once you even like 2 or 3 minutes in, okay, I'm in this, I'm feeling it.
Yeah, like and my husband even gave me the same critique. He's like, you could tell you were stumbling there at the beginning, but once you got into it and got into the flow of it, you just rocked and rolled through it.
Good.
So we got Kenny. Kenny says, does Brian have any Chestnut Ridge stories? I think we all have a Chestnut Ridge in each county, but
yeah. So yeah, the Chestnut Ridge here in PA. I'm in West Virginia now. I still forget. So yeah, it's a 110-mile range from, I think, Indiana County down into West Virginia. What's it called in West Virginia? Morgantown. And they call it the PA Twilight Zone. When I was with the old PA Pennsylvania Bigfoot Society, my wife and I were up there a lot, and we do talk about some of those in. It's called Sasquatch Unearthed the Ridge. I'm in that one. Terry's not in that one. I'm in that one. Sasquatch Unearthed the Ridge, and I'm in 3 or 4 episodes of that, and I talk about some of the things up there that have happened, and some of the things we've seen and things like that. But that's a long time ago. We have too much around here to do. When we even get to do it now, we still do it, but just not as much. We're trying to hike and do more here in these rugged mountains of West Virginia, and I'm telling you, it ain't easy.
No, I can imagine.
We actually live in we call a holler. We have off to the left. There's a big hill, a creek and a hill. Over there, there's a big hill, and I've hiked them, and they're not easy. I mean, I found some caves up in there, and it was pretty cool. But I don't go there a lot. It's just the body says, the mind says, I want to go up there. The body says, maybe tomorrow.
And then when you do it, then it's like, oh, why did we do that?
I do it. I feel it. I really do. I mean, I wish he could have came down here about 10 years earlier, to be honest with you. But yeah, we still do it. It's just not much as I want.
What have y'all ever had anything that made you question why you do get out and research, like something scary? I mean, I probably know the answer. I mean, you're talking about seeing a ghost in the doorway behind you and you didn't freak out.
Yeah, that was, and also another 2 more ghost stories if you want me to tell them real quick. I mean, if not,
yeah, please do.
So one of the ones we had a friend up in Erie, Pennsylvania, Lake Erie. It's on Erie is on Lake Erie, and he was a minister there, and they were seeing shadow people. They were having books fly off their shelves.
Wow.
So when we were there, we didn't have that happen, but we went downstairs and they had like a little rec room. Walked down these steps and there's 2 doors with those, you know how the handlebars come out? You've seen those doors. So we go through it, we turn left, and he's showing us the old foundation. So we're taking pictures, right? It was maybe 8 o'clock, whatever. The whole church was locked down. Only one other person had keys, and he was nowhere to be. There was nowhere there. So we hear coming down the steps. Then this door starts shaking. It's going like something's trying to come through it. I like our eyes were like this wide. And then he says, yeah, just finished taking a picture. I'm like, no. So I ran out and went, looked out the little window. Nothing. Boom. I run up the steps into the church, and I'm looking. I'm like, there's nobody here. And so did he. His name was Robin. And boom, 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 bum, 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 bum. That door started to shake. I mean, 3 of us heard it. And it was like, somebody's there. Someone's coming through the door. But nobody. And the other one, we did a private house in Rochester. It's in Beaver County. And this couple had started doing things to their basement, fixing their basement. And, if you read any ghost stories, sometimes if there's an old house and people make changes, the ghosts don't like it, right? So my wife and the homeowner and another lady who was in the ghost group that we were with at the time, they're in the house. Me and the gentleman who owned the house, we're outside. So we're outside next to this pool, this little plastic kids pool, the kind that you blow up and it has a ridge around it. You know how it has a ridge around it and then the pool, okay? So we're standing there talking, and the pool was about maybe 10, 12 feet from us. All of a sudden, the top of that pool went like this. In a V.
Wow.
Like something is pushing it in. It went down until it went below the weight of the water, and the water was gushing out. Maybe only gushed out 5 or 6 seconds. It went real slowly up. Now, we were far enough away. We were looking at each other. We didn't do it, and there was nothing else. No dogs, no animals, no nothing there. And that it went down. It went in a V, and the water's gushing out. Just maybe 4 or 5 seconds. I can't even remember because it was like we were just there, and then it just came back up. So those are and then whatever this was in the back of us. So those 3.
Makes you wonder if something was trying to communicate with you, and that's the only way it had,
I was like, wow, I was just like, and we did an investigation in April. It was at this place called the Grand Hotel, and it's really cool. The guy has themed monster rooms. Like there was
that's cool.
We stayed in the Frankenstein room. It was so cool. But we went downstairs. They have a video place for the guests. There's a plastic coffin there. So I got my EMF reader. I go to one end, and that thing, not an EMF, a tri-field meter. This thing went boom, boom, all the way up to 300. 300. Then it went down. So I'm like, wait, is this a false reading? I did it 3 more times. Nothing. Then I go to the other end of the coffin. It wasn't a huge coffin. It was a replica plastic coffin just for show. I went to the other end. Boom, 300 again. And then it slowly went down. And I did. I checked each one. I would go and I left. I did the whole room and I would come back just to see. And nothing. Just twice on each end of that room. And that meter, I have never seen a meter shoot like that. And so I'm thinking if it was something underground because there was a little basement or it should have done it again. And it didn't.
Right.
Again, can I explain that? No. I mean, was it a ghost? I don't know. But I just thought it was pretty cool.
It's energy, right?
Yeah.
Right. So do y'all ever take some of your equipment that's more geared towards ghost hunting out to the woods?
Yes. We've been doing that for about 3 or 4 years now. And I take that tri-field meter with me. We've taken EMF. We've taken the Geiger counters. Just to see, maybe we find an area that could be a portal. Maybe it's a high energy. Maybe it's an EMF. Maybe there's something coming through there. Maybe it's close to a sighting that happened years ago. But yeah, and I really do think this, and see if this is true. Keep this in the back of your mind. See in about 4 or 5 years if more people aren't doing that. I think you're going to find, like, especially like Bigfoot. They don't want, what are you carrying around? Oh, I'm not carrying around nothing. EMF meter. Why do you have an EF meter? I don't know. Just, more people I do think are starting to have more thoughts on Bigfoot. They just don't come out and say it. They don't.
I think so as well.
I think, what we talk about, maybe it's the area that draws things. So, and I know Harley, we were out. If you ever come to Tennessee or Alabama, let me know. We got some places.
Okay, that'd be cool.
Thank you.
Love to get down there.
Yes.
There's one spot somebody mentioned earlier in chat. I think it was Michael X. There's a place that we all go in South Alabama, Talladega National Forest.
Okay.
It's on the 33rd parallel. There's quartz land everywhere.
Ooh.
We've had some strange things happen, multiple witnesses. We've caught stuff on audio. We got video. And it's not just
light spheres too, like orbs and things like that.
You want me to show that right quick?
I mean, if you can, I don't want to.
No, you're good. Let me show you this right quick, because there's people in chat that's never been here before.
Oh, okay, cool.
So this was the first of the summer. I'll set it up. We're on the 33rd parallel. It's about midnight. I had just showed people how to make coal fire with quartz, so I released energy, right?
Yeah, I've done that. That's pretty cool. Do it in the dark. That's so cool. Yeah.
I'm not saying that's what caused this, but check this out.
Oh, that's cool.
And watch it. It's see through. It looks like it looks like a nucleus. Human. It's got a membrane and the nucleus. Looks like a human cell.
I love this part here.
And when it dropped down, Kenny had his thermal, and he said, "I got it."
Wow.
And there he is.
It's like that. I've heard plenty of theories. Possibly plasma. I mean, I hate to say this. It's almost like these things are sentient. Like they, like they're I know energy, but maybe a life. I mean, I don't know. Some of them look like they're going through the woods searching for something. Sometimes it seems like they can change their density and go into the ground. Even I think, what's his name? Ronnie LeBlanc had that happen up in Massachusetts. It went straight into the ground, disappeared.
Yeah. If you watch Skinwalker Ranch, they show a lot of times where they go into the mesa and come out in another area.
And remember, you got to shoot rockets. I don't care. Just shoot a rocket.
What?
And I love, believe me, I'm teasing, but I love that show. But it's like, how about like no rockets this time? It's like, trying to stimulate the enigma or wherever they want to call it. But
I've seen ball lightning before, and I saw a huge, about a beach ball size orb on the train tracks one time here. And if you look up to Chapel Hill Light in I've
heard of Chapel. I've heard of that. Yes, I have.
Okay, I've seen that personally. I'll tell you about it sometime. Sophia, I don't know who you are. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you very much.
I was like, what does that say? Thank you so much. We appreciate it. That stuns me. That hardly ever happens. But the plasma part where you're getting to, we saw the first orb my wife ever saw with me is in our North End hotspot, we call it here. And actually it's not far from the Chapel Hill Light site, but it wasn't round. It was changing sizes. It was about that long, and it was up in a tree about 10 foot, and it just was slowly, like it was liquid, but it was light. Mm-hmm. And I said something to somebody like, I don't understand what it is. And they said, well, that counts as an orb too, but it could have been plasma like. Mm-hmm. It lasted 15 to 20 minutes, and we changed. Now, I didn't get out and go try to get a picture. It wasn't too far from us. But I did change angles with the truck to try to get a better look at it. And I went back the next day to see if there's any equipment in the tree. Something I didn't, somebody put up a trail cam, which it didn't look like that, but I had to make sure. The leaves on the ground hadn't been disturbed in forever. So I don't know what that was. She doesn't know, but it helped me because now she likes going out because we've seen some strange things and it's cool to her. But yeah, when you say plasma, if you'd have said that 3 years ago, I'd have been like, what? But as you get to doing these things and learning more about it, Now, I don't know what it was. Does it have something to do with Bigfoot? I don't know.
I don't know.
But
we had a sighting. A gentleman told us when he was young along the I think it was actually the Clarion River, up around Kennerdale, and he said him and his friend, it was at night, and they were walking along the riverbank there, and he said they saw this orb, and light sphere, whatever you want to call it, and it was white, and he said it was above the river and following the river, and he says you could see it as clear as day, and he said there was no reflection in the water. How is that?
Oh wow.
No reflection in the water. How could something like that not? But he said no reflection, and this dude is super smart.
That's a heck of a detail. That's
again, those little details.
Yeah. Exactly. There's little details. Exactly.
See if that happens in anything else we ever get. So,
Wow. I do. Look, we're our show's full of I don't knows, but all we can do is report what we've been told or what we've seen, and if anybody out there can help us figure it out, y'all are welcome.
I always loved it. I love it. So even like if we do libraries, I love to put this stuff out, and I'll say, anybody seen this? Anybody seen this?
Yeah.
Or afterwards, they come and talk to us about this, because sometimes if you're in this as long as we are too, it's like sometimes you can't see the forest through the trees. They're like, "Did you ever think of that?" I'm like, "No."
Right.
Awesome. And I'm always like, I learn every day. I have to learn every day. Okay, I didn't go to college. I went to 1 year of junior college, like CCBC, and I figure every day is my college. I have to think like that. I've got to learn from everybody and learn as much as I can, because everybody's could have a piece of this puzzle. Somebody once told me one time, it was funny, because you can learn from the village drunk if you listen to them long enough. I'm like, think about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You're right. Because that son of a gun might have seen things that he can't handle. You know what I mean? If you can catch him in a clear moment, you're right. I don't know. Maybe one of these days we can connect the dots or whatever, but I feel like I've been shown things, not that I accidentally saw it. And I know that's just a feeling. You talk about feelings. I feel like if I'd have seen the UFO before I saw the Bigfoot, I probably would have flipped out a little more. But I've already had that oh crap moment 3 years earlier that was just mind-boggling. But and then somebody asked, have I been touched? It was a comment way back up there. And the only time I've ever been touched, well, there's 2 times, but one, I got grabbed by the big toe. I was laying awake in a hotel room in Gatlinburg, and it felt like these 2 fingers grabbed me on the big toe and snatched my leg off the bed.
Oh, wow.
And I don't like that. That's not, I'm not a ghost person. So let's see.
No, I've never been touched.
Is this the one, Kenny, you're talking about? Said that you can blow up the orb and see faces in it. They caught it on the trail cam. That's something I was going to bring up too. You said something about how they feel like, I don't know if they're being manipulated or their own entity, but I was trying to figure out, because this thing was set to black hot, and almost like before it moves, like it may change, and it's pulsing a little bit. So it's almost like it being the first thing, it looking like a human cell. What in the mess? Looking like it's alive. It looks like a human cell, right?
Yeah, like it has a brain or something. Yeah, I mean, it's, and the one thing I always say too is everybody wants black or white. There's a gray area, and I think a lot of what we've always done and what you guys do, it's in that gray area. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Maybe there's plasma balls, maybe there's energy balls, maybe there's earth lights. These could all be different. It doesn't have to be one thing. And this is even like Bigfoot. Maybe there are Bigfoot that are just flesh and blood creatures like bears.
You're
Maybe
right.
there's some extraterrestrials mixed in there, and maybe there's some paranormal entities that can slip in and out somehow.
Well, if I was an alien and a couple of humans caught me, I would if I could, I would change myself into a Bigfoot, like portray it, and confuse them. But Sophia, golly, thank you. So I'm gonna read this comment here, and it you've probably heard this before, Brian and Amanda. Like one of the first questions I ask, and a lot of people ask when they saw eye shine with the Bigfoot, first a lot of people asked what color it was, and there's some different colors. But also, was it emanating light or was it eye shine? Renee, that was with Finding Bigfoot, I saw her give a speech, and she actually admitted to seeing red eyes, and there was no light to illuminate anything, which confused her. Now, her being the skeptic, it's a TV show, but hearing her talk about that, and it scared her, and something walked up beside her and never left, and she's in the dark, right? Hearing her say that, this point right here that you said, I feel I'm with you. I feel like it could be different types. So
yeah, I don't think that's wrong. I mean, a lot of the Bigfoot people, they want to be a Gigantopithecus. They want to be some sort of undiscovered North American ape, and it may well be. Like for me, I really don't care what it is. I just want to research it. But if you even suggest, hey, maybe it's some interdimensional creature, oh man, they jump you're not a real researcher, and you get laughed at. Now, even when we started doing that, the Dogman phenomenon years ago, okay, people were laughing about us around here, but we brought out the Shenango Valley Dogman, Shenango Valley Dog Boy, which we ended up believing that it was just end up being a kid with hypertrichosis, and that's on Monsters and Mysteries in America. But so yeah, we were. What was funny about that though, we were laughed at until the same people that were laughing at us saw how many people were coming and wanted to hear about that, and how much publicity and what we were in the newspaper articles up in Mercer County and stuff. All of a sudden, hey, we're getting left out. Let's start researching this. It's funny, like how some people just do it, and they still don't even believe it in a hunch, but just to get that publicity, maybe sell some stuff. I'm all in it now. It's like you laughed at us 2 months ago. I'm
gonna read this right quick with Sophie. One Indian man told the legend about the eyes of Sasquatch. They have crystals that make those lights from their eyes. In the interview on the channel Small Town Monster, he told it to Alexander Petikoff. And then Kenny, our good buddy Kenny, he's Creek. What did he say that a lot of natives they don't look? No, go ahead.
Yeah, it said a lot of natives say do not look at their eyes. And I'll read this comment as well. Joshua, they've been sharing actually some really interesting encounter stories in the comments as this show has been going, and he says that he actually didn't see any face at all on the creature that he saw. So there's a lot of anomalies with these things that, like
exactly.
I said, if you get your head out of the Gigantopithecus world, it opens it up to some really interesting stuff.
What we do, like especially at our talks, Amanda, let's say that I talk to you and you say, this creature didn't walk, it floated across the bed or the meadow. I'm like, that's going in my report. It's not, Amanda said it ran really fast. No, Amanda said it floated. Guess what? That's what I'm saying. That's what we're going to throw out there. I'm like, this is your story. All we do is we're a relayer of their sightings. All we are. We don't mold one sighting to fit our, whatever you want to call it. Now, when we did the Dogman things, we found in some of our cases, okay, that these creatures are seen around power sources or during electrical storms, or by power substations. Now we've had maybe 3 or 4 like that. The rest, no. But so could there be some weird connection with power substations? If they're interdimensional, do they need that to manifest or walk through? I don't know. And I don't know.
Well, no, it's right. It's fun to do this.
I know there's talks in like the ghost hunting, that paranormal camp, whatever you want, insert term there, that they talk about that, people can have hallucinations and things like that they could think is ghosts and things like that happening in their homes, but it's actually just the electrical activity of being too close to like power stations and stuff like that. So I mean, the fact that you could have that happening with cryptids and other things like that too, I don't see why people couldn't automatically think that there could be correlations there.
Yeah, and spitballing, one day I was talking to a friend, and he has a podcast, and we were just being goofy, and he showed me the cave system map, and then the Bigfoot, map, which we know is skewed because probably less than 1% of people will tell somebody. So we're talking, and I just happened to mention, I'm like, our hot spots, we have no phone signal at all. And the reason it irritates me, because I could go live and bring people along, but I have to do videos, right? Unless I get on the top of this big hill. And then I just said something like, I wonder what the no cell phone coverage map looks like. And I do understand that there's a reason they would overlap because of how mountainous or rural or whatever. But I was like, okay, so if these things are all about energy, what if these 5G towers or cell towers interfere with their mojo? You know what I'm saying?
You know what? I've heard that from somebody around here. No, that's not. Yeah, exactly. So, it's why not? Why couldn't?
And everybody don't go say, I heard Roger say.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's just, I do that because it may be totally wrong, but it may give somebody smarter than me another idea.
Exactly.
So,
like I saw somebody say about the eyes can paralyze the victims. Well, you've heard of the infrasound with some of these creatures. Mm-hmm. I was twice out of all the times we were out at night, twice. One was really, really, it affected myself and my wife and our friends Dave and Carrie at Salt Fork State Park. And I'll do this very brief because I know we're coming to the end here. So it was during a conference weekend, okay? But we had a couple of our members at the handicap shelter. So we pull in, with myself and my wife and Carrie and Dave. We pulled in. As soon as we got out of the door and put our feet on the pavement, we were all hit by something. We're like, whoa. We all looked at each other. It was like something out of a movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We're like, something don't feel right here. Okay, so we walked a short distance to the like this rotunda thing and gazebo type thing, and there was like four or five of our members there. And as soon as we got there, we didn't say a word to them. They said, something is off tonight. So Dave and so we walked to our vehicles and we got out some equipment. We walked around the perimeter, and such a strong feeling there was something didn't want us there. It was like you were hit with this oppressiveness, like, get out of here. Like, we walked up and down, maybe 10, 15 minutes. We walked back to the gazebo, and it was like, boom. It was like somebody took a switch and shut it off. It was like you started to hear things in the woods, and everybody went, whew. So were we hit with infrasound? If there's one time that I believe there might have been something there, that was the time. But I do say we didn't see anything, we didn't hear anything, we didn't smell anything, okay? But you sure as hell felt it uncomfortable, like there was something there. So I'm being 100% honest with the way I said it.
Well, maybe it got its results. It wanted you to leave, right? I've been hit with energy before, a few times, and what I've started doing when I feel it, if I'm live or whatever, I'll tell people just to document it. It may not anything come of it. Just a couple months ago, I got hit from the right. We heard a monkey sound. Me and my son, he's in the chat now, P. Willie. I felt it. I got hit on the right side, and my hair stood up or whatever, and I'm like, oh my God. And Peyton, I didn't say anything. He said, do you feel that? I'm like, oh no. I said, what are you feeling? he said the same thing, but it was coming from the side that this, all I can call is a large monkey sound. We heard it twice within 10 minutes. I don't know what that was, but the fact that I didn't say anything and he brought it up, that's tangible. That's well, I don't know if that's the word for it, but that's confirming, now, do we know what it was? We have no idea what it was, but guess what we did? We left. So,
well, this if it was something, it left us, and it was kind of a good thing because it was, what do you call it? It did not feel good, and we've been there we've been there, I don't know, 6-8 times over the years, nothing except that one night, and it was like, yeah, you guys maybe shouldn't be here tonight, but at least if it was something,
well,
at least it left,
And you're not saying what it was because you don't know, and that's the best way to go. Somebody asked, Rusty asked in chat. He said, "Didn't you feel something in Holland?" Yeah, I did. The first time I ever went there, when we pulled in, something hit me. My stomach got jittery, and I stopped the truck. And I told my wife, "Something's going on, and it's pretty strong right here." Mm-hmm. And then once it eased up, we went on in and met everybody, and just 2-3 hours later, we caught a Bigfoot scream on audio. So, and then I had somebody say that when they pulled in, there was one looking at them. So I don't know. I've been frozen before. Like something hit me and I couldn't take a step forward when I was younger. Don't know what that was, but in my mind, why I did this, I don't know. I said, if you'll let me go, I'll turn around, step on my right foot. I'll go home and won't come back today. Now I don't know if that's power suggestion, something I did to myself, but as soon as that feeling went away, old Roz did exactly what I said I was going to do and went back home. I don't know what that was, but I know that the more we do this, the more we run into things like that. Now, some people are not as receptive to it.
Exactly.
But it sounds like you are, and it's probably why you're doing what you're doing. It's just, but anyway, what about a part 2 sometime?
Sure.
If you start a podcast, we'll come on and talk to you. You retire and start a podcast.
Yeah, because we didn't even get into any of your experiences and some of the other research stuff. So yeah, I would love to pick your brain on some of that stuff.
Yeah, sure. And I think maybe next time I know what I'm doing, this will work better.
Oh, you're good.
I do apologize for that.
Brian, what I like to do, what we like to do, the first show, I like for, even if you've done 100 interviews, we may have a different group of people. There's Bigfoot and Mothman people come in every day, new people, right? Don't know who none of us are. I want everybody to get to know the guest first, to get to know you. And I feel like that's very important because there's people that I know that I've gotten to know. When they tell me things, I trust them. So I think we're very lucky because this almost didn't happen.
Yeah, I agree.
I'd have felt bad.
Yeah.
But again, like I said, we're down here in a place that, sometimes the signals get mixed up, and that's why I'm like, I love doing it, but there's always like, oh, I hope nothing happens wrong.
Yeah. Oh, you're good.
And it never fails is when you need it to actually all work is whenever it all goes to crap.
It's always sometimes when you do a recorded show that you're more laid back. It's like, I might get it, but it might take me 20 minutes and they're going on in 5, you know what I mean? So yeah.
But that's the good thing. Well, you did perfect. You came in way early. And that's the reason why I tell people. Oh, Kenny? Thank you for this gentleman who Ken.
I appreciate everybody who joined us tonight and, wanted to hear what our group is taking.
Ken there.
Not about me. What's up?
Well, Brian, Ken there that she just showed his comment. Mm-hmm. When I showed the orb video, you saw the back of the guy's head. That was his head.
Okay. That was a great video. Thanks for sharing it. I appreciate that. I appreciate your time too tonight. I mean, you guys didn't have to do that.
We appreciate you. I mean, without guests, we can't do a show. I mean, and I say this all the time, but when I ask somebody to come on the show and they say yes, I'm like, why? Like I'm surprised that anybody want to come on and talk with us. We're still new at it, and I'm like, it means a lot to me, is what I'm trying to say when somebody says yes. So.
Oh, you guys ask awesome questions. I mean, really, really cool. I mean, I wouldn't have thought that you're just new. I thought you guys have been around for a while. Really, the way you conduct yourselves and stuff.
This is episode 15 or 16 here on Untold, but I think we've got maybe 60 or 70 on the other Squatchin Holler on YouTube.
Okay.
But you can go back and watch me with my green wall behind me and this, and it's just struggling with everything. So it's been a fun ride.
Yeah. But I do thank everybody, and I'm glad that I didn't make a fool out of myself.
Oh,
no, you did great. We appreciate you coming on here with us. So,
and thanks to the lovely wife.
Tell Hillary we don't get much sunshine down here.
Yeah.
We really don't. We only get it and then it's all
Well, one thing I noticed that we're in a really hilly spot, but we're not in the mountains.
Okay.
But one thing I noticed in the hollers, we have hollers. It gets dark about 2 hours earlier in some places. You know what I mean? It's like the sun goes down. It's like 3 o'clock and it's dark in Possum Trot. Like, how does that work? But anyway, thank you, Brian.
Oh,
and thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, Miss Brian, for helping us out and getting it going. She's in there hiding. Thank you, Sophia. Appreciate you. Thank you, everybody. The chat's always awesome. People that will listen on Spotify and other platforms tomorrow. Thank you all for listening. Next Thursday, we're not going to do a show because obviously it's Thanksgiving, but I got permission to do the Wednesday time slot, and we're going to do just a laid back Thanksgiving show. We're going to have a lot of the Untold radio. Doug's going to be on for a while. Chris Reinhardt, Barnaby's going to check in.
That'll be fun.
The Big Ragu, Jeff's going to step in. We're just going to do a relaxed and maybe tell some either fun or scary stories that's happened to us. And we just appreciate all of you. Gives us something to do and people to talk to. And we feel, we say this, it's not being cheesy. We feel like you're all family. And now Brian's in our family. So
yep, there you go.
Yep.
All right, y'all.
It could be the Adams family here, though. You know.
Hey.
I don't want to copyright that. I almost did the jingle.
And that would work. We would all
work.
Yeah.
But again, though, thanks you guys, and thanks everyone listening to spend time with us. And happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Yep. And tonight, Google Brian Seech and read everything and watch everything.
I'm out there. Yeah, the name's out there. I'm surprised. We've all Googled ourselves, and there's more out there than you think. So.
Oh
yeah. I know, it shocks you, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That old internet's amazing.
Yeah.
All right. Love y'all. Be good.
Good night, y'all.
Thank you.
This is Jeremiah Byron from Bigfoot Society, and you're listening to Squatchin Holler. So get ready, because it's a good time.